wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah. Nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh. Wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. May yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa may yudlil fala hadiya lahu. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. La nabiyya wa la rasula ba'da. La nabiyya wa la rasula ba'da. Okay. My name is Reza Fauzan Nur Iskandar. I come from University of Alma-Ata and Informatic Engineering. Okay, here I will to presentation my English assignment. My presentation about CPU hardware or Central Processing Unit hardware. Okay, this first about Central Processing Units. CPU hardware is a very complex and extensive set of electronic circuits that execute, store, programs, and instructions. That the CPU hardware is the component of the Central Processing Units. Then, when the hardware that we what the name is we can processing the CPU hardware that is very complex and extensive set of electronic circuits that execute, store, program, instruction. That the CPU hardware is the component from Central Processing Units. The component hardware from CPU is the component from what the name from we make a CPU. Example like a processor, like a motherboard, RAM, storage, and graphics card, power supply, or casing. But CD and DVD ROM now it's not compatible for using, because now compatible is used in the flash disk. Because that, but I still put the CD or DVD ROM in this presentation. The first is processor. Processor is this is processor or non-CPU. The processor is a computer component which is the brain. That is, this processor is the brain of the all CPU of the one of CPU. The processor, this is the brain of this component, this all component, because that runs the process and controls the work of the computer and collaboration with other computer device. Speed unit in the processor is megahertz or gigahertz. With the greater the speed of processor, the faster computer performance when do the process. In here the processor there is speed. In here the speed is megahertz or gigahertz. Some like Intel Core i3 blah 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 blah, speed from 2 and 8 gigahertz until 3 and 5 gigahertz and other, something like that. That is a speed of processor. The faster computer performance when do the process. This is the example. Example from me is Intel Core i9 Core i9 90 million 90 k 3 and 6 gigahertz up to 5 gigahertz. This is a best processor Intel at at this era, not at then era. This is 9th generation from Intel processor but this now is have a brother. Yes, this processor have a brother, that is Intel Core i9 2090 millions 90 k. That is best clock like this, like a Core i9 this, but it is up the speed and case and under. If Core i9 this 3 and 6 gigahertz up to 5 gigahertz, but Core i9 that is 3 and 7 gigahertz up to 5 and 1 gigahertz. This is a flagship processor. And then from his best friends is what enemy. This enemy is AMD. There is AMD. This my example, not same. The specification is different. It's very different. The Intel processor this is too high from this example from AMD. There is AMD Ryzen 7 307X 3 and 6 gigahertz up to 4 and 4 gigahertz. Cache 32 megabyte 65 watts AM4. Nah, that is example from Ryzen. Nah, in this world there is two one is best brand processor. There is Intel and AMD. It is so what name is example Intel out. This brand is flagship brand like Core i9, and then AMD is joined from this enemy. What the name is perlawanan like that. I'm sorry, I'm not. What the name? Not compatible, not lancar. Saya belum lancar bahasa Inggris. Okay, next is motherboard. Motherboard is something that's what the name, like a board. Yes, like a board. The name is motherboard. Motherboard the Indonesian is jadi kotaknya ibu, jadi pusatnya segalanya. This motherboard is a computer device that connects each computer component so that it can communicate with each other, such as processor, video card, RAM, hard disk, and so on. Example from this motherboard is there is 3 from size. Example from size, there is 3 example motherboard: ATX, micro ATX, and ATX, mini ATX. Then from Intel there is in what socket 1151 there is Z390B Z360 and 8310 for socket 1151. In here have one example brand is MSI MPG Z390 Gaming Pro Carbon, that is LGA 1151. In here the socket, the type is Z390, Z390. This have DDR4 and USB 3.1 SATA 3. And from his friend is AMD. It's different, okay? It's different motherboard. Intel AMD is so different because that Intel have a table of motherboard and AMD have self table of motherboard. In here AMD there is X370 B450 and A320 for socket AM4. Now this socket only has different name. Here there is Asus ROG Strix X370F Gaming. This is example from ROG Strix. The specification have AM4 and AMD proprietary X370, FDDR4, USB 3.1 and SATA 3. Next is RAM, random access memory. RAM is like the storage for running our system from computer. Jadi there is line when the computer process all from the computer, this is will running with this RAM, but not difference RAM and storage. RAM is for line of process in the computer. Some like we play game Fortnite in have how many FPS, so RAM have what the name is number. Number is from RAM and other, but the storage is different. Moment I learn about storage, this is RAM stands from random access memory, which has a function as a temporary storage for data or program instruction on a computer. Data in RAM is temporary, which means that if the computer or laptop is turned off. Now, this is when the PC or laptop is turned off. The data in RAM will also be erased. Yeah, the name is RAM. The line from process in computer is erased. RAM is usually called memory because basically it is data storage memory as described above. Here I have example from Clef DDR4 value series PC 21300 2666 MHz 4 GB 1x 4 GB. The next is storage. In general, the definition of storage is a digital device that functions to store various kinds of digital of digital data that can be stored for an indefinite period depending on the age and care of the storage device itself. There is storage is place of us for submit the data and save our data from computer, but the storage also is important in a computer because the storage is this is opinion from myself. The storage is important in computer for booting, like we turn on the computer, the laptop, this first first work is from storage because the storage this read and write the data of the computer, some like read 3 megabyte per second or read where or read many then from this storage is very important from computer or laptop. Example, this hard disk. In computer or laptop there is two storage. There is hard disk. Hard disk is used have old storage. Why hard disk is old storage? Because hard disk is still with the plate, same plate like that for save a data from computer or laptop. Now there is SSD, solid state drive. There is some like hard disk for saving a data, for processing a data, but SSD is important compatible. There is the Indonesian is lebih dianjurkan untuk dipakai, lebih dianjurkan untuk kita gunakan because the SSD write and write and very what is more important from hard disk is it is to speed very fast from hard disk. The example from hard disk is Seagate 1 terabyte SATA 3 from Seagate and data SU 800512 gigabyte SATA 3. Okay, the next is graphic cards. And this graphic card is the card for display on our computer and laptop. A graphic card is an expansion card for processing image and then displaying them through a monitor. This is graphic card is for processing the output our image, our video, our games and other from our computer or laptop. Then displaying them through a monitor. This is for a CPU for computer. A good graphic cards will provide good graphics quality too. Okay, this graphic cards there is great. Some like in Nvidia, some like GTX 750 Ti from Nvidia, and this is low end graphic graphic cards, but it's nicely graphic card. There is flagship graphic card from Nvidia like RTX 3070X, RTX 2080, like that. And Radeon. This. From my opinion, Nvidia, that's what the name is, bekerja sama. Nvidia that's what the name, collaboration with Intel for making our product. Some like laptop, there is many Intel and Nvidia for a component, graphic card and processor. But Radeon this have one brand and 2010, but it's now is what one product for AMD. The year Nvidia and Radeon with AMD. Some like, and here I have example from Nvidia is Asus GeForce GTX 6, what's the name, 1650 Super 4GB DDR6 tough game. This is from Asus tough game. So then Radeon, here example from Asus Radeon GTX 580 8GB DDR5 dual pen overclock, and this OJ is overclock. This is overclock. Okay, then power supply. Power supply is part of the computer system and the CPU unit, which function as a power divider, source of electric current on each of the computer components. In addition, the power supply also functions to convert DC voltage to AC before it is supplied to each of the computer components itself. The power supply is like trafo, like voltage for giving voltage to our CPU, to our computer, but this component haven't at laptop, because laptop using a battery. Laptop using the battery, but the computer using the power supply. Like that. Power supply, like there is component, there is watt, there is certificates 80 plus gold or silver, bronze, like that. Here example is Exasonic S12 360,000 650 watt 80 plus bronze certified. Then there is power supply, other is 50,000 5,050 watt from AMD. Power supply. In here power supply is the voltage, the electric voltage from computer. The name is the power supply is giving electric for our computer. Okay, like that, understand? Okay, next is CD or DVD ROM. Now in 2021 CD or DVD-ROM is not compatible for using because it is so old era. Now era is using our memory, some like flash disk, SSD. Then he nothing the plate, the CD, nothing the CD or DVD. But here I will to present what CD or DVD room. Just little. Okay, CD or DVD room, or what can be called an optical disk drive, is a device that can be used to write and read a cassette or CD or DVD. Nah, some like hard disk, some like what memory flash disk like that. But this with CD or DVD. Nah, but flash disk, SSD that using a memory, some like MMC, like that. In addition, CD or DVD-ROM can also be used to burn or copy CDs using various software such as Nero, Infra Recorder, and so on. Example, there is CD-ROM from Samsung. Some like what we press the button moment, but my laptop is having the CD or DVD-ROM because I don't like the CD or DVD-ROM. And under my opinion, when CD or DVD-ROM is not compatible for this era, yes, the speed is very not is very lost, is very bad for this era because it's not fast. What the name is lambat like that from SSD and memory under because it's still use plate or CD or DVD that. Okay, next is case CPU. Case CPU is case for put our CPU. Is case for put our CPU. Then when we have what merakit PC that, yes, we have rakit a PC that we put our motherboard, power supply, fan cooler, and casing cooler, then cable management and other at CPU, at case CPU. This is also on the name menyesuaikan of the motherboard. There is case CPU ATX, mini micro ATX, ATX, and mini ATX. This is I have example keep gaming card via ATX side tempered glass, PSU cover, free 3-piece rainbow RGB fan. This is gas fan RGB F3 free 3-piece rainbow RGB fan. Okay, maybe this is from me, and I'm so sorry if my language so broken because I still learning our English language. I'm so sorry. Okay, then for me, I'm so sorry if I have bad language language because I still learning, I still belajar, saya masih belajar, yes. I still learning our language, our learning the English language. Maybe that's it from me, and I see you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.